Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today is the 15th of July. As always, let's get right into it with our high time frame analysis. But before we do all that, we got the mighty Lucy Breakers back in the crib. You guys know the drill. All right. So, going into today's session, on the daily time frame, it's still the same old BS. We are ranging. We're actually generating a bunch of buy side liquidity right here, as you guys can see. All these stacked relative equal highs. Again, I am expecting to go lower just because of this bearish IFG that we formed. But yeah, that's basically it on the daily time frame. We're still in the accumulation phase, so there's really not much to talk about in my opinion. But moving on to the 4 hour, you guys can see that overnight London and Asia sessions, we decided to start going higher and higher all the way up to this volume imbalance in the 4 hour SIBI right here. If you guys know, we did fail to close above this consummate encroachment red line, and to me that is bearish strength and bullish weakness, meaning that we're more than likely to go down. However, we also did create this nice 4 hour busy, so this PD ray is something to keep an eye out for, because it could send us even higher, or we could end up creating a bearish IFG, which would more than likely deliver us all the way lower. Moving on to the 1 hour time frame. Ignore this, I will talk about it later. But moving on to the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we respected this tiny bearish SIBI right here. We came up and immediately started dumping lower. Again, none of these candle closures are getting above this red line, so that's even more bearish weakness. We created this bearish IFG, and we also created this unmitigated fair value gap. So to me, this is a great drawn liquidity. More than likely will get taken out. If we do manage to go all the way down here, I am expecting to get some support, and if not, I'm expecting to go even lower, all the way down to these relative equal lows. So on the 15-minute time frame, as you guys can see, we respected this SIBI right here. Again, body closures are respecting the red line, and we are respecting this white line, which is the lower quadrant of the new week opening gap. To me, that tells me that we didn't even have the bullish strength to come up and tag this red line. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident that we want to go lower. Again, we did create this brand new 15-minute fair value gap. So what am I trying to see? I am trying to see us either get a nice candle closure below it all the way down here, or respect consummate encroachment and send us even higher to these relative equal highs. Something I want to point out, this 4 hour busy and 15-minute busy have the same consummate encroachment, meaning the red line. So to me, this is an ultra sensitive price level, and it will tell us where price wants to go basically. So for my pre-market notes, I said we're still accumulating. Looks like we are failing to go lower. Bearish IFG is not delivering. Bearish price action. On the 4 hour, I said finally filled the massive 4 hour SIBI. I want to see a strong candle close above the gap. This would confirm that we are truly bullish. So I want to see a nice candle closure like above here. Swing low, blah, blah, blah. And I also noted that we failed to close above new week opening gap consummate encroachment, that red line. So like I said, that is bearish strength. Moving on to the 1 hour nodes. So we have unmitigated BISI below us, right below our relative equal lows. So that is a great drawn liquidity, something to target if you are bearish. On the 15-minute time frame, I said the 4 hour and 15-minute fair value gaps aligned perfectly, and we respected the 15-minute SIBI from London session. So this is just showing that we are even more bullish than bearish. No, more bearish than bullish. Excuse me. So I broke my rules today in pre-market. I took a trade targeting data lows. We had PPI data released at 8:30 this morning, creating this massive wick right here. And if you guys know, data wicks are a great drawn liquidity. Most of the time, these price levels will get traded back into. So what was I trying to look for? I was trying to look for a short all the way down to this data low. Even though it was pre-market, it was something I don't ever do. It's honestly against my rules. I only like to trade between 9:30 and 11. Why? Because that's when I've back tested the most, and that's where my probabilities align with in my favor. So whatever. So we did create this 3-minute bearish IFG, and I was like, F it, man, let's do it. I decided put risk on the table and enter the trade, my break even being the swing low. And unfortunately, we did get a break even, but this trade would have panned out beautifully. But yeah, that was just a little pre-market break even trade I took. Nothing too exciting about that. And these were my reasonings for that pre-market trade. I said bearish signs respecting new week opening quadrants, bearish 3-minute IFG, respected that 15-minute SIBI from before. So moving on to market open, we had a premium opening range gap, and I took this kind of late, and at this point we already crossed the consummate encroachment level. So whenever we do this, the percentage increase of us filling the entire gap, they go up. So I was expecting to fill this gap, and that's what I said. I said we already reached consummate encroachment, so it's more likely that we fill the entire gap. Not saying it will occur, but the percentages have increased due to us reaching consummate encroachment. And what ends up happening, the entire opening range gap does get filled, delivering is even lower. So, like I mentioned, this 15-minute BISI, I either wanted to see us catch some support from the consummate encroachment or get a nice bearish candle close all the way down here, and that is what happens. So, I was not fully convinced that we were going to have bearish price action until that 10-hour candle closure. So around 9:46, I said we are respecting consummate encroachment of this 1 hour BISI, the one from pre-market, and I said looking for bullish price action right now. So why did I mean right now? Because we were gonna open up in the macro, meaning that if we were gonna reverse, it's gonna be now. So it's either like a now or never kind of scenario. So yeah. So what ends up happening, we disrespect consummate encroachment and continue with the bearish price action. So from that point on, I was fully 100% bearish and was only going to look for shorts. I said at 9:50, I said I'm bearish. We are going all the way down to the relative equal lows from yesterday that are way too smooth. So at 10 o'clock, we had some bearish candle closures on the higher time frame, the 1 and 4 hour time frames. I said we are going lower. 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour bearish IFGs created. So you guys can see this is the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour candle bars respecting consummate encroachment of new week opening gap. Bearish price signature. We did generate bullish liquidity for the great bullish reversal that will arrive by the end of the week. So I am expecting to come back up and take out all of these relative equal highs just because it's way too smooth for my liking. So more than likely we will reverse even higher after dumping lower. But yeah. So now moving on to my second trade of the day. What do we get? We get this 15-minute SIBI to form. So I just waited for us to retrace all the way up higher into the 15-minute SIBI and then look for a bearish IFG. So you guys can see we respected consummate encroachment of that 15-minute gap perfectly to the tick. We failed to reach consummate encroachment of first percent of fair value gap, which was a bearish price signature in my opinion. And as soon as we got this 1-minute candle closure, I decided to enter my trade with 5 contracts, break even at a 5-minute busy. So boom, as you guys can see here, our break even was achieved pretty quickly, which is always nice. And then I decided to take some profits around here just to secure that winning day and just leave the 1 contract left for some extra cheddar. But yeah. And boom, as you guys can see, our full TP was hit for like a 2.3 something R kind of trade. And here are the contracts. And these were my notes. I said 1-minute bearish IFG, respected consummate encroachment of 15-minute SIBI, tapped into first percent of fair value gap, but failed to reach consummate encroachment. And we did create those 1-hour and 4-hour bearish IFGs. But yeah, that's basically it for today's trade recap. Oh, what do you look at that? These relative equal lows got hit. Now we can expect some bullish price action to occur if we do get this 5-minute bullish IFG. Not saying it will happen, but if it does happen, we're more than likely going to retrace higher, at least to equilibrium of this price range. Yeah, that's basically it for the trade recap, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys learned some stuff. If you guys aren't learning, let me know what I could do to help you guys out. As you guys can see, I am pretty good with technical analysis. I predicted this entire move down all the way down here. At 950, we were all the way up here, and I said we were going to go all the way down here, and that is exactly what happens. And it does look like we are starting to reverse. Let's see how much risk we would have to put on the table. 5, 4. Not worth it. But yeah, that's it for the trade recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Peace.